We are Rogue Media Sports.
It is the Cam Show on Rogue Media Sports Network. I'm your host, Cam Stewart. Zach Burke keeping us on the air. We're live on YouTube as we are every weekday, high noon Eastern time, and then available wherever you get your podcasts as well. This is the Rafael Devers episode. We're going to take a look at this shocking trade from all angles. Why? Why did they do this? Why did they do this now? Why did they get nothing in return? Why does the Red Sox organization continue to do this? And what now? What to make of this team as they finally start winning? And what is this franchise going to look like in the future? We're going to talk about all that and more coming up on this episode of The Cam Show. We start where we start. Rafael Devers traded in a bombshell move. We Red Sox fans, we got about 20 seconds of happiness in this 2025 season. They've won 5 in a row. They sweep the Yankees. Their starting pitching looks great. Finally, here we go. They're starting to win again. They're over 500. Bam! The most unnecessary trade maybe in the history of the franchise, which is saying a lot, comes about. Rafael Devers to San Francisco for a bunch of nobodies, for a bag of baseballs. Actually, that would have been more valuable to the team than what they got in return. Jordan Hicks, Kyle Harrison, James Tibbs, and Jose Bayo. These guys don't have a chance in this market. They don't have a chance. It is the most shocking Boston sports trade of my lifetime. Like, I'm talking out of nowhere. The Mookie Betts trade sucked. Nobody wanted it. That will go down as one of the worst ever, but we knew that was coming. Okay? Nomar, stunning. But was it that stunning? He's at the end of a contract. He had already turned down extension offers. The Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett one, they're way past their prime. This is it. This is the most shocking trade in Boston sports of the last 25, 30 years. Because it really doesn't make any sense when you break it down. And I'll go into the reasonings here. Like, I love being able to understand what the reasoning is behind a trade. I love cosplaying as GM, but I can't find a good one here. So Rafael Devers is traded after hitting the home run to give you the insurance to sweep the Yankees. Right before they're about to go cross country. Oh boy, does this reek of just total Red Sox cowardice, right? Right before they go out west. They trade Rafael Devers to San Francisco, a team they're going to be playing on Friday, by the way. And all they get back is a bunch of guys you've never heard of. So I'm trying to figure this out. Why are they doing this? The prevailing thought is it's a salary dump. The Red Sox have a top 5 left-handed hitter in all of baseball. He's in his prime. He's having a great year, and they salary dump him in the middle of the season when things are starting to go well. How does that make any sense? Seriously. How can you justify doing that? The other one is, so San Francisco is taking on all $250 million of his contract. Wow, isn't that great? The other was reported through the Boston Globe, and I saw it through this tweet from Jimmy Stewart. The team's feeling was that a $313.5 million contract comes with the responsibilities to do what is right for the team, and that Devers did not live up to those responsibilities. They had enough, and they traded him. Now, I've said it on this show before. I don't think Rafael Devers is the best teammate in the world. I do think it's bad that he refused to change positions and help the team out. But is that worth trading him for nothing? Because to me, that's a big, big deal. That's a huge deal to just trade him for a bunch of nobodies. Because I go back to in the mid-aughts when this was the best organization in baseball, and you had Manny Ramirez on the team. a guy who made up, grievances, made up people in his family that were dying so he didn't have to play games, wouldn't show up for a series. His teammates trying to beat him up in the locker room because they felt he was hurting their team. And slapping around his wife. That guy, Manny Ramirez, you kept him on your team. And then when he was on expiring contract, you traded him for an all-star at the trade deadline. The Red Sox take a guy who isn't a great teammate, but isn't exactly not showing up. He's not slapping around women, okay? And he's one of the best hitters in Major League Baseball. They traded him in his prime for nothing. I get it's a big contract, but by the way, Juan Soto's getting paid about $750 million. How bad does 313 look? I get it. The end of that contract's not going to be great. But you've got him. He's your DH. He's in his prime. You're a winning team right now. Why are you doing this now? Why do you get nothing for him? I know it's a lot of money for the Giants to take on, but they offer that kind of contract to someone every year in free agency. They've been desperate to get a home run hitter. They haven't had a 30 home run hitter since Barry Bonds. And you couldn't make them give up anything? Like anything at all? Who are these guys? Jordan Hicks. Let's go through it. Let's go through what the Red Sox got in return. It's like getting a fucking donut from Dunkin' at 9 p.m. It's like chewing through cardboard. That was their return on this thing. Jordan Hicks, 28-year-old failed starter on his fourth organization. They have tried so desperately to make him a starter. This is like a poor man's Joe Kelly. Okay, throws 99. He used to close out in St. Louis. He cannot start. He's got an ERA of 6.5 this year. They've moved into the bullpen, and he's got an injury. That is the centerpiece of this Rafael Devers trade right there. You remember last week when I did the Duran trade packages and I thought about San Diego and they had Jeremiah Estrada, the big-time setup man, and in that trade package had their number one prospect, and I thought, that might be tough to center a trade around a reliever. The Red Sox centered a Rafael Devers trade around a reliever. It did not get any number one prospect out of it. San Francisco already sent him to the bullpen, and he's the centerpiece of that trade. Then you get Kyle Harrison, who might be the only somewhat redeeming player in this trade, but I say somewhat because 23-year-old left-handed starter, third MLB season, so he's got some experience, has a record. I know record is not what it used to be for a starting pitcher, but in his 3 seasons, 2.5, his records are 1-1, 7-7, and 1-1. So there you go. Has never had an ERA under 4. 4.56, the exact ERA this year, which is what he had last year. And this year, he has thrown 23 innings in 8 appearances. Do the math there. Yeah, not quite squeaking out 3 innings in appearance. Half of those were starts. So that's another guy. 2 pitchers they did not deem good enough for their starting rotation are the big pieces in a Rafael Devers trade. Then you've got James Tibbs, something called James Tibbs. He's going to turn 23 this year in a couple of weeks. He's in high A ball in his age 23 season. He was a first-round pick last year. Controversial, though, at a pick number 13 because everybody said, surprised he even went in the first round at all because his ceiling is very low. He's got a high floor, low ceiling, and he was picked 13th overall. Well, he's gone already. They had no problem parting with him. 246 batting average, 857 OPS, which is decent in high A ball this year. How about this for the whole trade? The Giants have one top 100 prospect, Bryce Eldridge, who plays Rafael Devers' position, quote unquote, third base. The Giants have 1 prospect in the MLB pipeline top 100, and the best they gave you was their number 4 prospect. Number 4. In a dog shit farm system. And the last guy is Jose Bayo, a 20-year-old pitcher who is basically in the instructional league this year. He's playing in rookie ball at their spring training facility. That's what you got for Rafael Devers with his 152 OPS plus this year in the prime of his career. Like, if you want to tell me it's a locker room cancer thing, or you want to tell me it's just too much of a salary, I'm almost like, fine. If he's 33 years old, that's what you do. He's 28. And again, they're finally starting to win. We had this team in the preseason looking like a playoff team, right? A lot of people thought that. Okay, now you've called the kids up. They're on the roster. The team is winning. And now all of a sudden you say, we're not a win-now team. I know we've just won 5 in a row. We're firmly back in the playoff picture. But they're now telling you, wait till next year again. That's when we're really going to be good. Just year after fucking year with this shit. They finally have a roster there, and then they tell you it again. Later. We got you later. What the fuck, man? When do they start to be a serious organization again? Like, if you're a Red Sox fan, how can you blame any Red Sox fan for, like, rage quitting this entire season? You're finally happy about something with a team we can actually get behind. And they trade their best hitter for nothing. They didn't even shop him around the league. I'm going to talk about more in the next segment on that. But, like, I get it. $250 million is a lot of money to take on. San Francisco is not a terribly small market, by the way. I mean, it's not that much smaller than Boston in terms of an MLB market. It's pretty close. So taking on $250 million is a lot. But how do you get nothing in return for that? And why now? It's a month and a half before the trade deadline. You couldn't deal with it that much longer? Again, I just look at Red Sox history, and I can't sit here and tell you, it's because he was a locker room cancer. When I look at the success the Red Sox had for years with locker room cancers, and 2 World Series with Manny Ramirez, and everyone thinks Curt Schilling is like the worst guy of all time. Guess what? He was there for 2 of them too. And by the way, I think it's all this great cutesy story and everything, but David Ortiz didn't know Dustin Pedroia's name even after he won an MVP. That doesn't scream like great locker room guy to me either. He was there for 3 of them. You paid him as a DH for over a decade. But Rafael Devers can't have it. Like, I get it. I'm not saying he's a great teammate. They had to fly the owners out there to tell him to play a different position, and he didn't. And he's taking ground balls at shortstop. He looks like a dickhead. But does that justify this trade? I came across yesterday after the win, and I really thought it was a joke. Like I said, Red Sox trading Devers. They have another guy named Devers in Double-A that they're trading. And to see this return, you're a worse baseball team. Why? I just don't understand where it's coming from. I got nothing on this one. Like, I really don't know why they did this at all. You are a much worse baseball team on June 16th than you are on June 15th. I really don't get it, guys. Maybe I'm thinking of it too simplistically, but to get rid of your best player on a salary dump, I'm not even going to say all these moves that I'm about to list are terrible or were terrible at the time, but like, you've got a generation of Red Sox fans that grows up with that, 2016 to 2018 legit contenders every year. They have the best team in Red Sox history in 2018. They win the World Series. And then this all happens. Then you trade Mookie Betts. Then you let Xander Bogaerts walk. And then you trade Chris Sale. And then you trade Rafael Devers. It's like, what the fuck are we rooting for here? Like this, we're going to have the same anxiety that the Pirates fans have. Oh no, I've got a good player. When am I going to trade him? Is the clock already ticking on this guy's Red Sox career? Because here's another homegrown guy that even after everyone else was dealt and left to walk, right? You extend him as your cornerstone guy, your face of the franchise guy, on a deal you knew was going to be bad at the back end. We're not even close to the back end. He's in his prime. And you salary dumped him. Oh, well, that's going to free up a lot more money to sign the young guys. How much money did you need freed up? Cedar Rafaela, Brian Bayo, Christian Campbell, you all signed them for 6 to 8 year deals, topping out at $64 million. Like you've already got the model to sign them to cheap deals. All of a sudden, it's not going to work. You just did one 2 months ago. It's not going to work now. It's not going to work with Roman Anthony or Christian Campbell, or Marcelo Meyer. It's not going to work with those guys. That's what you expect us to believe. It just worked 3 times in the last 2 years. And you know the Red Sox aren't going to use this $250 million to go and get the next best player in baseball. You know they're not going to do that. And if they do, they're not going to do it till the offseason. You've punted this season. A season with a ton of expectations, and just when you start to turn around, you punt it. Why? Why? Genuinely, why? Why this? Why now? I've not heard any explanation that actually makes sense. I get the $250 million, a lot of money. You're the fucking Boston Red Sox. We bitch about them not spending money for years. They finally do it, and then they trade that guy in his prime in the middle of a season where he's having a great season. And for what? And for what? To replenish your farm system? No, you're not doing that. By the way, you already have a good one. To really bolster your starting rotation? No. You got 2 starters who weren't deemed good enough to be starters this year. Like right now, they're not good enough. You traded them for 2 depth bullpen guys. And a guy in high A ball that nobody thinks has a ceiling. What the fuck? Like, seriously, this is asinine. It's completely insane. It's the most random, dumbest, out of nowhere Red Sox trade we've ever seen. I just, like, what the hell, man? Genuinely, what the hell? That's the question we will continue to try to answer in this show. Please, guys, if you know the answer, please let me know in the comment section below. Why did they do this? Why was this a good move? Was it a good move for you? Some people are thinking that. I don't get it. I think it's dumb, but please correct me in the comments below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. We are bringing you nothing but Boston sports content, so like and subscribe if you hate this Rafael Devers trade. And if you don't, let me know why in the comments. We're here on YouTube live at high noon Eastern time every weekday, and then wherever you get your podcasts. Check out the other videos on the channel talking Red Sox and everything Boston sports. I'm your host, Cam Stewart. Zach Burke keeps us on the air 5 days a week. Coming up, we're not stopping talking about this, so stick on by. We're going to have a quick commercial break, a 2-minute spot, and then we're going to talk about the precedence of this, why this is the dumbest trade, why the Red Sox are continuing to make this a habit, and why Craig Breslow and this organization are running away and hiding after pulling some shit like this. That's coming up next on The Cam Show.
We'll be right back after these quick words from our sponsors. This is Rogue Media Network.
Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com. Elevate your experience with Grenco Science, the leaders in cutting-edge vaporizers. Whether you're at home or on the go, our sleek, powerful devices deliver smooth, consistent hits every time. Quality you can trust, innovation you can feel. Grenco Science. Take your vapor game to the next level. Visit us at GrencoScience.com.
It all began with a simple idea, cutting handles off old ski sticks to create better pull-up bars. This sparked the creation of the revolutionary Angles 90 handles. After testing over 70 prototypes with 300 athletes, our patented handles were launched in 2018. We continue to push the boundaries of strength training. Join us in making your training more natural and effective. Visit angles90.com to learn more and revolutionize your workout.
Dive into adventure with scuba.com, your ultimate destination for top-tier scuba and snorkeling gear. With over 20 years of experience, our expert staff, who've dived everywhere from the Galapagos to the Maldives, provides personalized advice to help you find the perfect gear for any underwater journey. Shop leading brands like GoPro, Aqualung, and Scuba Pro. Whether you're a beginner or a pro, trust scuba.com for the best in diving equipment and expert guidance. Explore now at scuba.com. That's SCUBA.com. Scuba.com.
And now, back to our show.
Back to the Cam Show on Rogue Media Sports Network. I'm your host, Cam Stewart. Zach Burke keeps us on the air as he does 5 days a week. We're reacting to the Rafael Devers trade the whole show today. All right. I just got this sent to me during the break. Looks like it's from Alex Spear. I'll read it verbatim. The kicker in all this, the blow up with Devers may, and may is the key word, in time be viewed as a blessing in disguise. His in-zone contact rate has continued to decline over the last few seasons, leaving him on the shady side of 70% overall. While those trends hadn't yet impacted his stat line, entering Sunday on pace for a career-best OPS plus, which is at 152 right now, it is a worrisome development when the player in question is under contract for another 8 seasons and has already made it clear that he has some strong preferences about where he does or doesn't play in the field. This is where we need to be vigilant over the next couple days, folks. Because that's a stat, okay? That makes some sense. I don't know if it's worth this trade, but that makes some sense. With a guy with that kind of body, his bat speed starts to slow down, then you're done. Like this happened to Ortiz, and he turned it around, but rarely does it happen. And it was never really that bad, Ortiz, by the way. So that is a reason. But what you're going to see over the next few days, remember, Fenway Sports Group, John Henry, Linda Pizzuti, they control the Boston Globe. So you are going to see all kinds of crap over the next few days. A smear campaign. We saw it when Terry Francona left. We saw it when Mookie Betts was traded. Like you're going to hear all about how Rafael Devers on the decline. This was a good thing for them to do. And he was a huge locker room cancer and they just couldn't deal with it anymore. Part of that is probably true, but we need to use our vigilance this week. Okay. And sift through the crap. In fact, even though the Globe still has some pretty good baseball writers, I'm almost willing to look past a lot of them this week because you're just going to get fed crap from the Red Sox ownership. But we're still trying to make sense of this. Still trying to make sense of this entire deal. And what really shocks me about the Rafael Devers trade is the fact that we could have saw this coming in a weird, backwards way, because that's what the Red Sox are now. This could well become the third time in the last 6 years that the Red Sox traded a future Hall of Famer. And in return, they have gotten Alex Verdugo, Jeter Downs, Connor Wong. So 2 guys that are not with the organization anymore, and 1 guy who I really wish wasn't with the organization anymore with his 0 RBI this year. Vaughn Grissom, Worcester Red Sox legend. And now Jordan Hicks, Kyle Harrison, James Tibbs, and Jose Bayo. That's what you've gotten for 3 potential future Hall of Famers. Mookie Betts, Chris Sale, and now Rafael Devers. One of those deals was made under Chaim Bloom, obviously, but the other 2 were made under Craig Breslow. And I just, again, searching for answers here on why this could be. But what I'm really pissed off about all of this is somehow this Rafael Devers trade is almost exactly like the Luka Doncic trade in the NBA. And I genuinely can't believe someone saw that Luka Doncic trade. An MLB executive saw the Luka Doncic to the Lakers trade and all the bullshit around that and said, you know what? That would be fun. I kind of want to do that. I want to trade my star player for nothing and not even shop him around. Because now the reports are, from Buster Olney, that the Red Sox didn't shop Rafael Devers around. They had a deal in place with San Francisco. And that's it. Much like what Nico Harrison did with Luka Doncic. Third best player in the league. Didn't shop him around. Just called the Lakers. I know Rafael Devers to baseball isn't exactly what Luka is to basketball. But you don't think you could have got something for the guy? You don't think there would have been teams interested in him? A left-handed hitter who's capable of hitting 35 to 40 home runs? That's insane. That is insane. Who saw that deal and said, yeah, I kind of want to do that. I want to do that thing. It just, what the fuck? How does that make any sense? That the only dance partner you were going to go with is the San Francisco Giants, a team with one guy, one prospect in the top 100, and you didn't even get him. Like, none of this makes sense. In fact, it all screams malpractice. Malpractice. And the most damning part of all of this is how the Red Sox are trying to do this and then run away and hide. They did it in the last home game before a 10-game road trip out west. They brought Devers to the airport. They drove him back to Fenway to get his crap. They did that right before because now they're going to do a Zoom call with the executives to talk to the media at 8 p.m. Eastern time Monday night. They're going to make you wait, 26 hours to talk to them after the trade? That's so bullshit, man. That is so Bush League. And they wait till they go out to the West Coast so they don't have to handle the heat back home, just so their families can do it. That's such weak shit, man. And it's so right up the Red Sox playbook. Just so Bush League, man. I can't even with these guys. Just a bunch of pussies making this huge pointless trade and then running away and hiding for everyone else to answer for their crap. Like, does that not make you want to vomit this team and how they're run, how they're organized? Like, they run such a small market operation, and then they're not even going to answer for it. It's a disgrace. This organization has become a disgrace. And even if this works in a couple years, because by the way, even in my doomsday right now, would it shock me or anybody else if in 2 years the Red Sox are a World Series contender and the Giants are okay and Rafael Devers is still okay or good but not great? That doesn't mean you won the trade. If you do nothing with this money, that does not mean you won the trade. That just means you made a bad decision and it happened to work out because you had other good prospects. So in turn, yes, you would have made other good decisions in the past. But you have two good, reliable major league hitters in this lineup right now, and you just traded one of them for nothing. For 0 guys who are going to be on your major league roster right now. You've already optioned Kyle Harrison down to AAA. None of these guys are going to be on your major league roster tomorrow. And none of them are good enough prospects to say, boy, I can't wait for them to be on the roster next year or in 2 years. Just a bunch of pieces, just a bunch of nobodies. What is Craig Breslow's strategy here? And why do we continue to see this from the Red Sox? In general, as fans, we're not really owed anything. But when you grow up as a Red Sox fan in a major market, you shouldn't have to trade 3-star players in the last 6 years and get nothing for it. I'm talking superstar guys, right? Chris Sale, a little bit different, right? Looked like he was kind of done and washed up, but he goes to Atlanta the next year. You got a AAA guy for him. He goes to Atlanta and wins the Cy Young. Mookie Betts. You put yourself over a barrel there. Rafael Devers, you didn't have either of those things. He's not washed. You're not being held over the barrel. And you still got nothing. You still got nothing. How does Craig Breslow look in the mirror at night? Or is John Henry and the ownership group just giving him a tug every night till he falls asleep? because he's just doing their dirty work. They don't want to continue to spend this money. How do you justify that as the Boston Red Sox, man? How do you see the Luka Doncic trade and say, yeah, I want to do that? Like, that's a good way of doing business. It's just, oh my God, these guys have just made this franchise a fucking laughingstock, man. Yeah, they're not the Rockies or the White Sox. They're not the worst team in baseball. But the Orioles, who have fallen so far in the last calendar year, are sitting there laughing at you because they're like, come on down to the basement. Are you better than Tampa after this trade with the way they've been playing? I don't think so. You better than Toronto after this trade? They gave their star player, very similar, by the way, gave him, what, $500 million, $450 million? You balked at $313? You traded him for a bag of baseballs? This is the most shocking trade they've made in 100 years, right? Forget the Chris Sale thing. Forget the Mookie Betts trade. We saw that coming. Forget the Nomar trade. He was on an expiring contract and was also refusing to play the field. Manny, expiring contract. Keep going down the list, man. Keep on going down the line. You're not going to find one that's as stupid or as out of nowhere as this one. Nobody saw this coming. And MLB executives, not just fanboys, not guys calling into EEI and the Sports Hub, MLB executives are saying, I got nothing here. I mean, I guess I can understand why they trade him, but how did they not get more than that? Why didn't they shop him around? And now there's a report on Monday morning that there were several teams that would have been interested. Several. Like Braves, Padres, Blue Jays, all inquired about Rafael Devers before this trade. One of those teams in your division, you're probably not trading him to Toronto. But two other teams in the opposite league, one including one in the Padres that's already calling you up on another player that everyone already thinks you can get one of their top two prospects for. Like they're ready to part with one of those guys. Ethan Salas, their number 2 prospect, or Leo DeVries, their number 1 prospect. Instead, you traded him to San Francisco for nothing. Just like, what? I know I keep saying that, but like, what? MLB, and what is great about this is the second time in a month that there's been a leak, a story from several MLB executives saying they have no fucking clue what the Red Sox are doing. They didn't know about it. They don't know why they did this Rafael Devers thing and why they only shopped in the one team. And remember, nobody could understand why they weren't calling up Roman Anthony. When you are running an organization that's supposed to be the epicenter of this sport, and there's twice in a month where all your peers running other baseball teams are saying, I have no clue what they're doing, then maybe you don't know what you're doing, Craig. John, Linda, Tom, Sam. I thought it was crazy when I heard that Theo Epstein was coming back, but he wasn't going to be part of the decision-making process. Clearly, that is true. Clearly, he's not part of the decision-making process. Because this makes no sense. And when you're getting compared to the Luka deal, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Is it like the Luka trade? Let me know. Or tell me why it's a good deal if you think it is. Like and subscribe if you hate this Rafael Devers trade and if you hate Craig Breslow and this Red Sox front office. We're live on YouTube as we are every weekday, high noon Eastern time, and then wherever you get your podcast. Check out the other videos on the channel talking Red Sox and everything else Boston sports. I'm your host, Cam Stewart. Zach Burke keeping us on the air. And we don't want you to go anywhere because we're going to continue to talk about this. What are the implications for this team right now and in the near future? Who is the face of the franchise now that Rafael Devers is gone? We will tell you next on The Cam Show.
We'll be right back after these quick words from our sponsors. This is Rogue Media Network.
When you learn a language with Babbel, you start a journey that takes you further and further. Anytime and anywhere you wish. It's easy and fun, broadens your horizons, and keeps your brain fit. A journey into new thoughts, new cultures, new adventures. So what are you waiting for? Start your journey with Babbel now. Go to babbel.com or download the app.
BadCreditLoans.com is a pioneering service provider that has carved a reputation in the financial industry for its dedication to helping individuals with bad credit secure loans. By making timely repayments, borrowers can gradually repair their credit history, thereby increasing their chances of securing better loan terms in the future. BadCreditLoans.com serves as a beacon of hope for those with bad credit. Simple, fast, and reliable loan application process. And its commitment to responsible borrowing makes it a trusted partner in the journey towards financial stability.
Did you know nearly all stock price changes of 10% or more result from a single news headline? These news catalysts create trading opportunities every day. All you need is a little help to reach out and take them. It doesn't matter if your investment budget is small or big. All you need is Benzinga Pro and its powerful news alerts, price tracking, and portfolio monitoring. Subscribe now, and we'll skyrocket your portfolio today.
OsleyMD.com. I've always had thin hair my whole life. It breaks off at a certain length. In the last 6 months, I've noticed it just really bad. I mean, you could totally see it. I wear a hat a lot. I tried several different products. My experience with the Bosley MD hair regrowth kit was amazing. It was easy to use. It let me take off my hat. I could go in public and have my picture taken and feel normal again. OsleyMD.com.
And now, back to our show.
Back to it. Cam Show, Rogue Media Sports Network. Closing things out on a Monday and talking still about the Rafael Devers trade, the most shocking Boston sports trade of my lifetime. I think just the most out of nowhere. Nobody saw that coming on Sunday afternoon, especially when the vibes were finally high. But now the Red Sox have more than a half a season to play. They're above 500. They're out west. They could put a lot of that noise behind them if they continue to win. But you just traded the face of your franchise. Nobody does this, okay? Nobody does this. This is at best Pittsburgh Pirates shit. Nobody trades the face of their franchise in the middle of the season when they finally start winning and they were supposed to be a postseason team. Nobody, except the Red Sox. That's what they do. This is what they've done. So now that Rafi Devers is gone, who is the face of the Boston Red Sox? That's what's interesting here, because a couple of guys have talked about it on radio. A couple of guys have written about it. Now it seems that Roman Anthony is the face of your franchise with Rafi Devers out the door. Now, of course, there are other big-time major leaguers, right? There's Garrett Crochet. There's Alex Bregman, who's hurt. I'm not going to play for a while. But all signs are pointing to that this paves the way for Roman Anthony to get more shine, to get more time in the lineup. And look, I love Roman Anthony. We all do. What we're about to say, what I'm about to say, is not taking away from our love and excitement for Roman Anthony. But you genuinely can't sit there and tell me you traded Rafi Devers in the middle of June of this season for a guy with one major league hit, for him to become the guy. And you know what else? Can I flash you back to a week and a half ago when Craig Breslow was still standing by that company line of, we're not calling up Roman Anthony yet because we don't want him to feel like he needs to be our savior? We don't want fans telling him he needs to be that. A week and a half later, you trade the face of the fucking franchise? What bullshit, man. What bullshit. It literally took, for them to have Roman Anthony in the lineup every day, it took Wilyer Abreu getting hurt and them trading the best player on the roster for nothing. Again, make it make sense. Like, yeah, now Roman Anthony is going to be the face of your franchise in the future. That's what the number one prospect in baseball is supposed to be for the future. But the kid's played a week. And you traded an all-star. A guy who's going to be an all-star again. So that he could take the mantle? Like, Again, that's not adding up. You do that before next season. When Roman Anthony hits 280 and hits 15 bombs in the second half of, or whatever, the last 3 months of the 2025 season, then you trade Rafael Devers. And then you say, Roman, you're our guy. Nope. They let him play a week. Not even a week. One hit. And they're trading Rafael Devers so that Roman Anthony could be the guy. How does that make sense? Again, make it make sense, man. And if and when, because it will be a when it's Roman Anthony's time to be the face of the franchise, that's going to be a good thing for the Red Sox. But it's not now. Red Sox fans weren't begging to call him up because we wanted him to be the face of the franchise in the middle of June. They're begging to call him up because the team sucked. And you had David Hamilton hitting almost every day. And Ceddanne Rafaela sucked. Like, that's why you wanted him up. Red Sox fans begging for him to be called up from Worcester didn't mean, please trade Rafael Devers so that this can be Roman Anthony's team. And I can't believe that was the Red Sox front office mindset. I'm ready to start taking these sports talk radio callers or whomever's watching right now and is getting in the comment section. I'm ready for you guys to start running this team over Craig Breslow. Again, if you want to make the argument in the offseason that, hey, we kind of had enough of, let's play this out. Let's play out a hypothetical. Let's say you get to the offseason. You missed the playoffs. Okay, you missed it by a couple of games. You were about 500. And Rafael Devers had a great season, but you continued on with this shit. Triston Campbell played some first base. He didn't acclimate well, kind of took his season off the rails, and you're sick of Rafael Devers' shit. Then you trade him. And you say, hey, we're going into next year fresh. We're going to add in this offseason as well, but we're rolling with the kids. Bregman, we're going to try to convince you to resign because you still need to do that, by the way. But the faces of our franchise and our lineup are going to be Jarren Duran and Triston Campbell and Marcelo Meyer and mainly Roman Anthony. That's fine. That still sucks for a lot of Red Sox fans because trading Rafael Devers sucks. But you also can understand that. Okay, we're going into next season. But here you've done it when you finally started winning. Here's your first sweep since April? First time the Yankees have been swept all year. You've won 5 in a row. It's your longest winning streak of the season. And you just say, yeah, you know what? Now's the time. And we'll talk to you guys. We'll explain it to you guys 26 hours later. I think that's really good for our pub. But now is the time for Roman Anthony to be the face of the franchise a week into his major league career. So don't give us that shit. Don't try to villainize us, the fans, of saying, oh, well, they're going to put too much pressure on the kid. They're going to expect too much. Listen how loud they're cheering when he gets called up to the plate. You guys are the ones screwing him. What's worse, cheering for him when he goes up to the plate in his first major league game and putting that kind of pressure on him, or trading the best fucking player on the team and putting that kind of pressure on him? It's just such bullshit, man. It's just another example of the Red Sox think you're stupid. They really do. They're just going to keep peddling this crap down your throat. Oh, he needs to work on this thing. Oh, he's not ready for the majors yet. Oh, we got more versatile in this deal. We got more athletic. No, you didn't. You got worse with this deal. And you thought we were going to put pressure on the kid. We all know. We're not stupid. We know these kids are the Red Sox future. This generational trio. Triston Campbell, Marcelo Meyer, Roman Anthony. We know that's the future of your franchise. But nobody was saying, yeah, get rid of this Devers guy right now. Again, it's the timing of it all. I can understand some of the reasoning. He has been difficult this year, Devers. He has been. And these kids are your future. I get both of those things in a vacuum. But if you add those things together, it does not say trade Rafael Devers now, a week into Roman Anthony's career, 3 weeks into Marcelo Meyer's career, and right before you were about to send Triston Campbell down because he's been struggling so much. And like, it's not like you got more versatile here. You've got more guys you can put at DH. Great. Maybe it frees up some space for Masataka Yoshida, another guy you've got to trade. But like, that doesn't mean that you suddenly have a first baseman. That doesn't mean Christian Campbell's a better second baseman. That doesn't mean Roman Anthony knows how to field ground balls in the outfield. It just means that every couple of days you can plug one of those guys at DH. That doesn't help your defense. It doesn't help make your team better. And you still have a hole at first base. Like, Toro's playing well right now, but trading Devers and getting no first baseman in return still has you at the same spot of guys who don't know how to play first base. Exactly. They're just a little late on censoring me. I'm okay with Roman Anthony being the face of your franchise someday, even as soon as next year. June 2025 is not it. It's the same month you've called him up. Like I said on the show last week, it's time to get excited because you're seeing the future of your team right here. But that's because you still have Jarren Duran, Rafael Devers. You'll have Alex Bregman this year. And they said no. They said no. You absolutely could have got more for Jarren Duran, cheaper. Team control for less time, but cheaper. Like, I saw this deal yesterday, and I thought this would be a decent haul for Trevor Story. A guy that's owed a lot of money over the next couple of years, who's starting to hit a little bit better the last week or two here. Like, this is a good trade for Trevor Story. Kyle Harrison might be a guy in your rotation at the end of this year, going into next year. Tibbs is a first-round draft pick. A bad one, and he's 23. But for Trevor Story, you'd take that. For Jarren Duran, I would think this isn't good enough. Right? And MLB executives wouldn't think that's good enough. All the trade packages we're seeing across everywhere for Jarren Duran has teams' top 5 prospects. 2 of them had top 5 prospects in baseball. So to think that we're looking at this and saying that's not a good enough deal for Jarren Duran, but it's good enough for Rafael Devers is insane. Asinine. Roman Anthony, you're the face of the franchise, whether you like it or not, brother. And I think he will thrive in that role at some point. I think he's a franchise kind of guy. But the bottom line is you already had one, and you traded him in the prime of his career for a kid that just turned 21. Couldn't friggin' order a drink at the bar a month ago. It's gross, man. I mean, it's genuinely one of the worst trades in Red Sox history, with a franchise whose history of trading guys is well known. They sold Babe Ruth. They traded Mookie Betts. This is going to be the worst because there's no reason for it. Yeah, Babe Ruth will probably still be the worst, but that was a sale. That wasn't really a trade. It just doesn't make any sense. Roman Anthony, it's your team now. Like it or not. This was the organization that told us you weren't ready, that you needed to work on some things, that you couldn't be the savior, that they couldn't find a spot for you in the everyday lineup, and now they're telling you you're our guy, you're our franchise. How the fuck does that make sense? Seriously, a week and a half ago when they sucked, you couldn't find a spot in the lineup for them. All you needed to do was get William Abreu hurt, and then you were so out of options that you needed to trade your best player. Here we go. Roman Anthony era right now. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Was that the right move because it's Roman Anthony's time and Roman Anthony's team? Let me know in the comment section. Be sure to like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you hate this Rafael Devers trade or if you think Roman Anthony's the face of the franchise. Let me know. We're live on YouTube, high noon Eastern time every weekday, and then wherever you get your podcasts as well. Check out the other videos on the channel. We've done Roman Anthony ones. We've done plenty of Rafael Devers ones, and find out everything else that's going on with the world of the Red Sox and Boston sports. I'm your host, Cam Stewart. Zach Burke keeps us on the air every weekday. Special thank you to him and to all of you tuning in. We will see you tomorrow on a little ditty that we like to call The Cam Show.
Transform your workspace with Hanomi Ergonomics. From adjustable chairs to standing desks, we provide solutions for comfort and productivity, whether at home or in the office. Improve your posture, reduce strain, and work smarter. Visit us at hanomi.co today. That's HINOMI.co today. Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internex. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. Enjoy seamless, fast storage without compromising security. Visit Internex.com today and take control of your digital life. That's INTERNXT.com today. Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com. Danes, we understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Committed to excellence, we adopt a user-centric approach guided by ergonomics and medical science. With a team of seasoned professionals in R&D, design, and manufacturing, we prioritize quality across our entire product line. Visit twosains.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com.